Good afternoon, teachers, respected teachers, and all my colleagues. The topic of my presentation is minimum support price conundrum and Indian farmer. The flow of my presentation is this. Now, what is MSP? So, it is a minimum rate at which farmers sell their crops to government. This price prevents farmers from market fluctuation and offers stability and income security. Father of MSP is Dr. Frank W. Parker. So, he came to India in 1959. And he was advisor to Ministry of Food and Agriculture, and in a letter to then Minister of Food and Agriculture, Ajit Prasad Jain, he wrote about, he gave suggestion about bringing support price for the farmers to incentivize the farmers of Punjab. Minimum support price established in 1966-67 by the recommendation of L.K. Jha Committee, and it is announced for 22 crops every single year. Now, history of MSP. So, MSP history dates back to early 1960s. When the country was facing severe unprecedented food shortages. So, first 1960s, the Green Revolution era. So, during that time, the MSP policy was formalized. Later in 1965, wheat procurement happened for the first time, and the cost, the MSP for wheat was set at 54 rupees per quintal. And this is done to incentivize the farmers of Punjab and Haryana to grow this particular variety which is called Jaya, the dwarf miracle dwarf variety of wheat. So that happened. Then in 1966, Agricultural Price Commission came. Government established Agricultural Price Commission based on the recommendation of L.K. Jha Committee. And later in 1985, renamed this commission as CACP, which is Commission for Agricultural Cost and Prices. 1970s. So during this decade, what happened? Diversification happened. More crops were included in MSP, like cotton, pulses, rice, than 2000. This policy, the MSP system underwent expansion. The cost, there are so much issues related with the cost, so they fixed the issues. More crops included. Now CACP is the regulating body which stands for Commission for Agricultural Cost and Prices, established in 1965. It's a statutory panel under Ministry of Agriculture, Government of India. It recommends MSP of notified Kharif and Rabi crops to the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, but the decision of MSP is made by government, which is Cabinet Committee of Economic Affairs. So this chart shows 10 years data of MSP, and if you see, there is a every single year there is an increase in the MSP, but particularly if you see proportionately. So paddy and wheat MSP is increased more compared to other crops. And also, recently for the past few years, pulses, the government is being concerned about the imports, so much import of pulses, so they are paying attention to pulses also.
What is the source of the data?
Sir, this source of this data is Press Information Bureau and published by them. And it is CACP calculation. So in that side it is written CACP calculation, but I got it from Press Information Bureau, Government of India.
Side of this table.
Yes, sir, it is mentioned. Yes, sir. So this is the data of wheat procurement state-wise for the last 10 years. And if you see Punjab, Haryana, and Madhya Pradesh every single year, you can see more than not 85%. If we see the last 2022-23, so you can see 96 plus 41 plus 46, almost 180 approx. So that much is procured by these three states. So it is more than 90% is being procured by these three states.
The meaning of RMS, KMS?
Sir, RMS, KMS, I have little idea. It is Rabi, R stands for, and K stands for Kharif, for paddy or subsystem. So this is the data regarding 10 years data of rice, wheat procurement state-wise. Now determinants of MSP. So determinants of MSP are supply and demand, cost of production, inter-crop price parity, terms of trade between agriculture and non-agriculture, minimum 50% margin over the cost of production, market price trends, and likely implication on the farmers, because we are giving 50% more, like 80 plus 7 plus 50%, so there will be inflation in food prices. So consumers should also take into consideration the consumer aspect of it. Now, how is the MSP calculated? So CACP calculates three types of production cost: A2, and it is calculated in the state-wise level and all India average level. A2, FL and C2. A2 stands for it covers all the paid out costs directly incurred by the farmer in cash or kind, which includes basically whatever the farmers pay out of pocket, like fertilizer, seeds, fuel, and also high labor. Now, what is FL? So, FL stands for it represents value of unpaid family labor provided by the family members of the farmer for various activities like sowing, weeding, harvesting. Now, CACP considers A2 plus FL as cost of production and sets MSP 1.5 times of it. And MSP, so this is the consideration of CACP. So the MSP formula will be A2 plus FL plus 50% of A2 plus FL. Now let's take a look into the National Commission on Farmers, which was set up in 2004, headed by MS Swaminathan. So the Commission in 2006 recommended that MSP must be at least 50% more than the cost of production, and also recommended that C2 method should be adopted for MSP calculation. But currently, Indian government calculates MSP based on A2 plus FL. So why this C2 and what is C2? So C2 is A2 plus FL plus X. Now what is X? So it is the interest on the value of own capital assets or the rental value of own capital. So it is the interest on the value of own capital assets or the rental value of own land. So let me explain you with an example. So let's say a farmer has invested in farming equipment worth 2 lakh rupees, and he also has a farm, 1 acre farm, which could fetch a rental value of 20,000 rupees per month. So what Swaminathan Commission says, that there are 2 opportunity costs involved. One, because if this 2 lakh rupees is invested in FD, could have gotten the farmer 5% at least in interest, and if this land be rented, it would have gotten him 20,000. So it will be 5% of 2 lakh 10,000 plus 2 lakh 40,000, which comes around to 2 lakh 50,000. So this is the opportunity cost, and this is the X, and this is the X of our equation. So now the formula for MSP is A2 as per the Swaminathan Commission, which is not being implemented. A2 plus FL plus X plus 50% of A2 plus FL plus X. Now A2 plus FL plus X is considered to be C2. It is C2, and so the formula will be MSP equals to C2 plus 50% of C2. So now what is the reason and what difference does this one variable C2 makes in the income of the MSP? So what difference does it make? Why this demand? So this chart shows, so in the first line where 2275 it is written, so it is based on A2 plus FL. But when you see the other, so it is C2 plus 50%. So MSP is being calculated, and it is CACP data. So you can see 9 to 40% increase in MSP. So that is why the demand is there. And this data shows the past previous 5 years data of major crops of cost of production, MSP, and percentage return over cost. So this is the data of that. Now what is MSP exactly? So MSP is a safety net through which government protects the farmers. So even if the price of the market price falls, government will procure the product. So that is MSP, and it is same all across India. But state government can give bonus on top of it, like Madhya Pradesh gives. Now let me tell you something. So even if the government increases the MSP, it does not necessarily mean that farmer will get benefit from it. I will explain it to you later in other slides. So first, what government does is it procures the grains from the farmers, then stores in the warehouses of Food Corporation of India. Then from there it is sold to the PDS and then distributed to the people at a very, very subsidized price. And the problem lies here is limited storage capacity. So because of that, government cannot procure all the crops, like entire crop. There is a limit, and every year we hear news about food is rotting somewhere in Madhya Pradesh, somewhere in Haryana. So that is the reason. Now, let's say government has set the MSP for maize at 2090 rupees per quintal. But if you go to the APMC mandis of different states, you will find out the price ranges from 1200 rupees per quintal to 1400 rupees per quintal. But if you consider the cost of cultivation given by the CACP, so it is 1344 rupees per quintal. So you can clearly see a loss here. So the thing is, farmers are very happy if they are getting the government price. But the problem is not all farmers are getting the price. The reason being is wholesale and middlemen do not consider this price. And some will ask, what is the why you are saying this data? What is the source of this data? So I have been to, like, I come from a farming background and I have seen this. So there is a very short period of time, 1 month or less than 1 month, 25 days. Like MSP announced for 1 March to 22 March, for like not announced, procurement is happening for 1 March to 30 March. So during that period, the farmer has to go to the market, has to sell their produce. And the thing is, farmer is not able to sell because traders will not accept. But only during that period of time, that particular time when the procurement happening, only that time MSP price will not, any trade will not go beyond below MSP. But as soon as the period is over, then the crop prices will fall significantly. So what farmer is doing, farmer is putting his efforts, time and money, bringing the commodity to the APMC yard. And the government obligation is, it has very less storage capacity. And the problem with the farmer is the fear of crop deterioration. And also farmer also has a lot of financial obligation. So he has to sell the produce, forced to sell the produce at a very less price to the middleman. So government also realizes this problem and came up and like increasing MSP, government realized that increasing MSP does not make any significant change, because so it would make significant change when we talk on the political aspect of it, but economically it does not. Okay, so that is why the government came up with the Farm Bill in 2020. So it was accepted from this bills to open, it will open the market for interstate, intrastate trade in agriculture, and also the farmer can sell their produce to any buyer, any private buyer. And there is also conditions in this bill. If the farmer is not getting the right price from, like already have a contract with some company, and now APMC is offering more price, he can make his decision, he can go and sell it to APMC. So there is this law exists in this Farm Bill which was repealed. So further increasing the price will lead to inflation in food prices. So MSP increasing is not a solution.
It is crop deterioration.
Sir, crop deterioration is like there is a very limited time. Like MSP is going, like procurement is going on for maize. So it is like for a very short 25 days, 20 days. So at that time you have to go to the mandi and you have to sell your produce there. So, and it is a very short time, and only large farmers who have connection, they are able to sell and they get the price. But not all farmers, this is the real condition, not, and 85% farmers of India are marginal. So if you see, their cost of production is very minimal. Even if you give C2 price, it does not make any difference. Like I have the calculation, so if you, I have calculated everything, all the cost of production. So if a farmer cultivates wheat in Madhya Pradesh, Narmadapuram district, from where I come from, so there the cost of cultivation of wheat is around 70,800 rupees, okay, including all the practices. Okay, and the other thing is the yield is about 18 quintal. So if even if the farmer is able to sell it in MSP on MSP, so he will earn 34,000 or 38,000 something. And if you divide it by 12, so it is a very minimal amount, 1,500, 1,400. So the condition of farmer is not that good. If you provide C2 also, it does not make any significant change. So that is what I am saying. Now, so this Farm Bill was proposed to bring private sector into this picture, and I think because you like it or not, private sector has the money. Why this money is needed? Because government purchasing creates budget deficit. So this is the very good way to, like private company has all the money, they can purchase it, and capitalism has its own way of getting things done. And the most essential feature of capitalism is to make profit, and farmers also want to make profit. So this is the possible and feasible solution that I see. Now every single year farmers of the government procures wheat and rice, spends billions of dollars to buy billions of tons of wheat and rice from Haryana and Punjab. and distribute this through TDS to BPL families at a very highly subsidized price, which leads to loss to FCI. If you Google right now, anyone, if you want to, you can see there is more than 78,000 crores loss of debt, type FCI debt. You will find out this is the debt that FCI has. And government debt, type government debt, Indian Government of India debt, it is 205 lakh crores. So government has to pay to FCI, so it increases the budget deficit. Now, what exactly this scheme does? So it is a safety net. So, but it does not cover all the farmers. It covers only the farmers of Haryana and Punjab. And the Shanta Kumar committee concluded in 2015 that only 6% farmers benefited from the support price scheme. In 2019-2020 alone, 3 states, Punjab, Haryana, Madhya Pradesh, accounted for 80% of wheat procurement. And we have already seen in the second slide. So not all the farmers are getting the benefit. So this kind of scheme is not feasible. So government should come up with something better, which will provide farmers a more remunerative price. Now MSP versus income support. And also there is one thing. So increasing MSP is not feasible in the sense that, so India is a member of WTO and a signatory of Agreement on Agriculture. So because of that, this particular MSP, this particular price support comes under the Amber box, which is subject to reduction. Okay. That is why government cannot recklessly every single year increase the MSP. So that is also one thing. But income support does not come under this particular Amber box. Why? Because these organizations, this is my thinking, are Western organization. What they do is right. They give income support is right. So that is why we can give income support. So that is one option. We can give income support, but income support to a very marginal farmer is not good, because it is not, it will not be useful. So farmer will not utilize it well.
What way we can give the income support?
किसान सम्मान निधि, and there is also रायतू बंधु तेलंगाना, 1 एकड़ लैंड पे 5,000 रुपये मिलते हैं इनपुट्स खरीदने के लिए पर सीजन. So MSP versus income support. So economists largely believe that it is better to give farmer income instead of price support. That would mean transferring a fixed sum of money annually to their bank accounts, whether on a per farmer as in the center's PM Kisan Samman Nidhi, or per acre basis as in the Telangana's government Raitu Bandhu basis. So however, the flip side to this, to everyone being paid the same money, is where does this leave the real producing farmers who invest more resources, time and effort in the field? You are paying every farmer 6,000 in PM Kisan Samman Nidhi, but not all farmers are doing their job very well. So this is not accurate way of transferring money to the farmers. Moreover, the price support can be useful tool for promoting crop diversification. Give price support for pulses, give price like government of, like recently you guys must have seen. So there is this like millets, International Day of Millets. Prime Minister Narendra Modi promoted this. But on one hand, people are given 2 rupees per kg rice and 2 rupees per kg, 4 rupees per kg meat. So why would they pay more for millet even if the price of the millet is low? So that is the point. And moreover, the price support can be useful. Farmers are more likely to grow pulses, millets and other nutrient dense and less water intensive crops than rice, wheat or sugarcane if they are assured of MSP or the farmer. Now Shanta Kumar committee also recommended that oilseed deserves priority because it is like we are importing it every single year, and Government of India must provide better price support option for them. Now there is this other way around. So price deficiency payment. So it entails the government not physically purchasing or stocking any crop and simply paying the farmers the difference between the market price and the MSP if the farmer is lower. So such payments would be on the quantity of crops they sell to the private traders. So has it been tried in India? So PDP was tried out first in Madhya Pradesh through a Bhavantar Bhugtan Yojana. Under this scheme, the market price of a crop was its average modal most quoted rate in APMC Mandi, and the prices of 2 other states, neighboring states, also considered while setting up the market price. So the price difference vis-a-vis the MSP was payable on the actual quantity sold by the farmer. The Madhya Pradesh scheme was implemented during the 2017-2018 Kharif season for 8 crops: black gram, soybean, maize, arhar, moong, groundnut, sesame, and Niger seed. But despite 21 lakh odd farmers registering and the payment of about 1,99,520, let's 1,952 crores being made, which is around 2,000 crores. The scheme couldn't be continued because of the lack of central support. So the thing is, government is already in the debt, and scheme like this is putting a burden on the state government, so which is not feasible. Haryana. So Haryana PDP scheme called Bhavantar Bharpai Yojana, and it is being implemented mainly in bajra, mustard, sunflower seed. Although technically it also covers groundnut, chana, and 60 vegetables and 3 fruit crops. So this schemes operate on Haryana government Meri Fasal Mera Byawra portal, in which farmers have to register themselves along with the details of their land, village name, khasra, plot number, holding sites, and areas for under the different crops. So Haryana has opted for a mix of both physical.
You are reading that slide. What is the purpose of the Sunna?
Sir, in the previous slide I presented this.
No, if you have to speak, take the help of slide.
So Haryana government has opted for the mix of both PDP and the PDP and physical procurement and price efficiency payment. But this scheme was also like there are no official data on this particular scheme, but I have read articles in which this scheme is called sham, so which is not good, not working really well. So both Madhya Pradesh and Haryana have demonstrated the feasibility of delivering MSP to the farmer. Why? Because they already possesses the infrastructure required, Meri Fasal Mera Byawra or whatever the app is called. So these made them possible to register their farmers and account for the transaction they are making in the mandis. That is why they are able to come up with the market price. But not every state has this kind of infrastructure. So conclusion is, schemes like Bhavantar Bhugtan Yojana and Bhavantar Bharpai Yojana does not offer long-term solution, because already government of India has like 205 crores of debt. On top of it, if state governments are also doing such programs in which you have to pay, it will further increase the debt on the state governments. So the feasible solution, this is not a feasible solution. So increasing MSP is not also a solution, because not all farmers are getting benefit from it, and also it leads to food prices, rise in the food prices. So increasing MSP, lot of problems comes under WTO ember box, and income support could be given, but MSP is not the option. Increasing MSP does not make any change. 85% farmers are marginal. Even if the cost is changed from A2 plus FL to C2, the minimum difference it makes is 3,000 rupees. So, and like I have the calculation, so if you divide it by 12, it is barely around 1,600 per month. So actually the farmer's condition is not very well. So that is why for them it is very beneficial. They are getting more money. That is why the demand is. But actually it is worth it. It is making any sense? Economically it does not make any sense. So solution lies in opening the agriculture market to private sector. Opening the agriculture market, so this will remove the debt obligation from the government has a lot of debt obligation, 205 lakh crores. So private sector has all the money. So and capitalism, the essential feature of capitalism is to make profit. So this is the possible solution that I see. These are the references. Thank you.